Greetings, beautiful souls. Are you curious about the ancient places? Are you curious about what kind of the energy they hold? Are you curious about how it would feel if you stand in the middle of Stargate? Now, you do not have to go too far, actually. If you are living in Florida or close by to Florida or travel to Florida, I'll tell you about the one magnificent place that I have recently visited, and that may completely blow up your mind with its energy, and your whole energy will just feel open and uplifted and feel with incredible love. This place is called Coral Castle, and it's founded in the lower part of the Florida, in the Homestead, Florida, which is a little bit below Miami. This was my first visit, and it was on my travel list for the many, many years. Now, when I originally went there, I did not expect to find a Stargate, but I'm so grateful I did, because to stand and to be in the Stargate energy, it's absolutely incredible, and there's nothing that you can describe that can compare to it. I have been twice into Stonehenge, and I love energy of Stonehenge, and it's a bit different. But this one is like you have to hold on literally yourself and to ground yourself, because it will absolutely propel you up into the cosmos, in the stars, in the matter of a split second. Something that we, do and meditate. You literally walk to this particular place here, and you are transformed in the vast cosmos to feeling the closeness of your home. And you all starseed know how it feels when you have that homesickness to be home and want to be connected with home. And imagine that we actually have here a place that will do that for you. And just, looking at the pictures and connecting with that energy, when you know what you are looking at and what you are looking for, can give you that feeling. But also with that feeling, it will give you the grounding that we all need, because you are needed to be here on the earth, because you came here to be in a service, to share what is it that you know from your life, from your experience, so we can assist the humanity to evolve into that next stage of the evolution where we all can thrive. So it is a smaller place, yet there is just so much of stuff that is absolutely incredible. Their videotaping is not allowed on the ground, so I could not make you a video from there. But I have several pictures, and I want to make it into a little document of it to share, properly all of them. But I'm so excited to share at least some of it with you, because you know that the month of the May, indeed 2024, I'm on a journey of research the cosmic consciousness within the earth and its findings, and how it affected the people who contribute to this particular, beauties, or this particular creation that I'm planning to visit, and how does it affecting to us, and what are these messages from that cosmic and the earthly consciousness for us. So this place was built in the early 1900s. There are some huge stones that you can see that literally can be compared to the structures of Stonehenge, the structures of the ancient Egypt. Yet they were built in the 1900, okay? So about a plus minus 100 years ago, 100 something years ago. But a tiny man, 5 foot tall, approximately 100 pounds, waiting man named Ed Litzkalnin, who have moved to America from Latvia. So there are several documentaries. I'm gonna link one below this video that I would recommend to see. That tells you story of Ed. Ed, being 26-year-old in the Latvia, asked a 16-year-old girl to marry him, and she could not marry him, or didn't wanted to marry him. She refused to marry him, and Ed had a very broken heart. And somehow that broken heart got him on a journey where he ended up in America. Now let's stop here, because we want to look at Ed. Ed came from this hardworking family, who were, I believe, the Masons. Very, and back there in those days, just between in the Latvia, you work hard, and you come from this, the family of very hard working people. And there's a lot of knowledge that will be shared from the generation, because Europe, especially the part of the Eastern Europe, and that's where I came from. I came from the former Czechoslovakia, the Czech Republic now. We all grew up in hearing the stories that were retold by our grandmothers, by our grandfathers, that were told them by their grandfathers and grandmothers. So there is a lot of mythology and a lot of stories that are told and that really are not told all around the world. So I truly believe that if we want to preserve knowledge, we can weave it into storytelling, into songs, into poetry, and it will be looked at it differently, and it will survive that time until it arrives in the time that it may be properly utilized or possibly needed. So he grew up in that kind of the environment. We also know that the love is the most strongest energy that we have. Love will propel you to the places and love will kill you as well. I mean, obviously, it has that duality because we live in the place of the duality, and it has the greatness and it has the most suffering and the pain and the worst feeling of it. And it's up to us what we choose to do with it, what we choose to embrace it. Are we going to let a feeling of the broken heart and the love to bring us completely down, or are we going to go on this great journey to make something? So Ed arrived to America. I can't really tell you when. Would have to make a better research for that. And but what is fascinating, he was here, and the stories say that he was looking for this perfect land. And nobody know if he dreamed about that land or how he knew about the land. But he came to look for the land in America. And it wasn't just any land, it was the specific land that he knew in his head how it's going to be. So we may think it's going to be a greatest farmer's land, or, something that will maybe, be utilized in particular way, that anybody would like to have. Now, the story says that he went to Oregon, and then he ended up actually in the Florida, in the lower part of the Miami. When he came to that part, he had a severe case of tuberculosis. Now, in the 1900 or 19, probably talk about 1915 or so much on, having a severe case of tuberculosis, that is a death sentence, right? Tiny, scrawny little guy who had no money, who has been sick like a dog, and who just had a dream of finding the land and building a castle for his sweet 16. So, as the ad is walking on this road, a real estate developer that he finds him on the walking on the road. He thought that there's a little kid walking there, and he stops by and he sees that it's a man, and he recognizes that this man has a tuberculosis. And this part really touches my heart. I have to hold myself not cry to it, because he takes him in his car. He brings him home to his wife. How many people would not do that? Because again, tuberculosis seems like a death sentence and is a highly contagious. Yet they have it within them, within their heart, that compassion, the friendliness, love. He brought him home, and I told them, I don't have any money to pay you. They take him in and they nourish him to health without getting the sick as well. Must be something magical about that hot Floridian water, right? Which I, by the way, love. And about the people. And so as Ed, was healing, was telling them stories of his life. He shared his dream of the land, and this gentleman let him to go and search in this land because he can help him out. So Ed goes and is looking for the piece of the land, and he refuses every beautiful future soil that would be greatest for the farmer. He refuses it away until, according to the story, he finds his what they would call the worst piece of the land that is pure rock. And he's in love and he wants this piece of the land. So this gentleman he gives him, I believe it was an acre of this land. And it's in this very distant rural place. And I mean, around the 1900, it was very rural, right? Down, going, I guess, down to the Key West, below the Miami. Even though the place is now in the Homestead, it was about 10, I believe, miles below the Homestead, his original place. And so he's there, and, you know, life goes on. But his wonderful gentleman and his wife are curious. What is Ed doing? Like, he has no tools, but, probably don't have too much food. I don't know how much you hunt down there. Of course, you can do some fishing, but and you don't have a supermarket or the Walmart to go to get your groceries, right? They won't even wonder about that. They go there, I believe, in a few weeks, and they see him literally having this huge rock on this pulley, that would weigh a few tons. And they're just amazed. How did he get it out of this land? How did he cut it out? How did he levitate it? Or how did he get it suspended on the rope or on the chain? And Ed tells them, well, if you have knowledge of how, it is easy. And here you can say, was he a magician? Did he have a superhuman abilities? Nope and no. There are no superhuman abilities. Everything has a perfect explanation and can be learned. You have to devote your time to your personal development and learning, and we can learn actually everything and anything. And that comes all the way from the Vedic teaching that I have learned. As many of you know, I'm on the study of the Transcendental Meditation and the Siddhi program. So starting pulling together knowledge from there, everything I have learned in the 20 years and been fascinated in channeling this cosmic consciousness and different star nations. Yes, all you need to know how. You need to acquire the knowledge. If you know it, it will not be hard. He never share of how he have done it. They spy on him. They, try to find out. He never share how he have done this. And that is a true quality of the ancient initiate, even in these days. When you find those who really know, they will not tell you how. You may see, some kind of demonstration, but you will not see how they have done it. And again, that is the highest level of the people and their quality, their pureness within themselves. Sort of like, Jesus Christ, Mary Magdalene, ancient Essenes, and many, many others that we can name here. They would not demonstrate it for the show. They would just do it and make you wonder how they have done it, because that wonder gets you on a journey of learning and practicing, because without the practice, we are not going to get anywhere. Long story short, he built this wonderful place. Actually, what you see here, he originally built it about 10 miles down the south, and then he has been robbed and almost killed. And he moved it into the homestead. He actually hired a car with a truck, asked the guy to, not to look. And in the matter of the 3 weeks, he loaded the stones, I guess, one by one, and they moved them into this location where he set up this wonderful, what he called the um, coral castle. I'm overexcited here. and would open it to public that everybody can go see it. Here to the right side, where you actually don't see, like a little bit here, there's like this little building, little room that he built for himself, like with a bed, very, very simple place. And down here is his tool shed. You know, his tool shed has nothing really what we would call a sophisticated inside that uses like, oh, you have done it with this and that. He knew about the magnetism. He knew about the electricity. But in the 1900s, you have to be a pretty good inventor to start playing with that because there's not a plug that we can plug anything. Um, he literally used anything that would be out of the metal that broke by. He says, when the train broke, he would take the pieces. When the car broke, he would bring the pieces and will reuse them for anything that, would serve his purpose. Now, many of the stones, like this one is a famous gate. It doesn't move today, but in the old movies, you can see that this is like I cannot remember how many times, but it's just literally moving back and forth just with the one finger. They have seen it to open it just with the breeze of the wind. Now, in these days, it just, it's open and it doesn't move. There are chairs that have been all rocking chairs. They don't rock anymore. And they ask people no longer to sit on the stones or touch the stones because they are deteriorating and they want to save and preserve it as long as they can. So, what was the Ed Litzkalnin consciousness? In my opinion, he was a starseed, and he have made that connection with the ancient memories here on the earth and also with the cosmic consciousness. I'm guessing that through the advanced stage of the tuberculosis, he may even experience a near-death experience, possibly, or be between that stage and I'm gonna die and I'm gonna recover, and he did recover. So that usually brings us to this huge awakening and opening. There are many stories of the people who had a near-death experience, and it completely got them on their journey and opened to you to completely different way of life. Now, I do believe he grew up in many stories, and his family may have carried, this kind of the teaching and the stories that he would bring here within himself. But there also something that activated him because he had this dream about the land and a dream about the castle that he will build. He literally traveled from the East Coast to the West Coast and back down the East Coast, in my opinion, until he was led into the land. He could not purchase the land. And yet the gentleman that literally found him walking on that street, and you can imagine in that progress stage of the tuberculosis, you may go like, how far can I probably go before I just drop dead and die? At that moment, perhaps we can call it a moment of the surrender. This is just me, Eva, looking at it, what it may have possibly been. So you look at it from your own opinion with your consciousness. But at that moment, a man with a dream, man filled with love, even though he had a broken heart, received the help. Surrender opens the door for the help to come to your life. And the help comes in the many unexpected places, from unexpected places. So anyway, let's look at here. And you may wonder, okay, so the story goes that he built this for this girl that he called his sweet 16, and that he's gonna so impress her that she will come here and she will marry him, and they will live happily ever after. It could be true, or there could be something different. So when you hear the story of Ed Litzkalnin, he always diverted the questions. He talked a lot about the stars and the moon and the cosmos. And he enjoyed to invite the people there and to talk to them and entertain them. And, he was a very social person. And yeah, there was this one lady in the documentary who says, when he talked about his sweet 16, his voice change was emotional, but he looked into the stars that one day his sweet 16 will come and visit. Hmm, that's good, right? It's really good. For us, starseeds and the cosmic researchers, we want to know more about that one. So, we know that the Pleiadians are connected to the seven sisters, right? Seven stars, seven sisters, even though there are more in a cluster. I mean, we know that. Orion is usually famous for the Orion belt, the three stars in the Orion belt. And we go like, okay, Orion, there we go. So I went and Googled what is connected to 16. I was amazed. It's the Andromeda. Andromeda star nation is known for the 16 planets and its princess. Ooh, that's good, right? So here we have a sweet 16, a girl in the Latvia. And here we have a connection, possible connection to Andromeda. Now, if you start looking at the stones and how they are positioned and clues, you will find more. And that I will save more for my documentary. I just give you a little bit here. So there's a little basin, like this little, like a little basin that is made on the stone, and there's like, it looks like a flower with the 16 creases, and they says maybe this is for, you know, his gal to think of the sweet 16. It may represents the 16 planets of the Andromeda. If you have read my books to activate your cosmic DNA, you know that I always connect Andromeda to water. There are pools of the water everywhere. Here's a little bathing place. There's little water here. There's in the water there. There's a well up here. And the actually water from the ocean, it's filtered through the rocks into this well. That's like a whole explanation how this may possibly be built. And the water is filtered. That is actually a drinkable water. So the salt water from the ocean would filter through the rocks, foundations, and until it enters here and it's filtered as a drinking water. Amazing. Totally amazing. He even created this big wheel up there that goes back and forth, so it's protected, so the children don't fall there. He would fill all his basins and his a bathing place, his bathtub, you know, with the water, heated with the sun, and so much on. So water and Andromeda is a healing kind of the energy, right? It's connected to the dolphins, to the whales, to the ocean. I mean, from here, you are not far away from the ocean. And the water, oh my God, was my first time to be down south in the Florida and swimming in that turquoise green water. Oh my God, you can never go back again into the regular ocean. That is just magical, absolutely magical. Now, another story is that, which we know from the different sources, it is just close to the Bimini Road. There are stories that actually in this area have been part of the ancient Atlantis. Could this be the remnants of the Atlantis? Make you wonder and speculate about that one. I mean, we'll never know, right? It's whatever we are going to feel and how it can be. Now, as I said, you want to look for the clues. So everywhere is the six-pointed star. Six-pointed star can be connected to the Metatron star, right? The two triangles move together, beautiful star of the Metatron. Now up here, here's a round rock. It used to move and he would lie on this rock and he would put a copper wires over him and he would literally sunbathe himself with it because it's healing. I mean, that's pretty genius because we know that the copper is the greatest conductor of the energy. Sun frequency through the copper, rock, and the body. It's a phenomenal kind of the energy. But I want you to think about this rock. So we know that the crystals and the that the crystals create the ley lines and the vortexes and the stargates, because the crystals are capable to record the knowledge and information. So they have been using by the ancients, ancient aliens, our ancient ancestors for thousands of years, millions of years to program. Same as we're using today the crystals in the computers and the technology. It is not the rock that we are using, it is the crystal, because the crystal is capable of holding memories. Well, these stones that you see are oolite limestones. Now, I need to educate myself a little bit more as well. But the oolite limestones is made of the calcite and is practically classified as non-crystalline stone. Calcite, high in a calcite. It has been submerged into the water for probably very, very long time because all that was under the water, right? Um, quite back in the history. And it's a calcite. All of this is made from that. What does it connect with? If you need a healing within the body, and if you need that healing to deliver from the inside out, you need to connect with the calcite within your body. Where do you find it? In your bones. Okay, and the bones are the main conductor of the nervous system. So here you go. It's very genius the way how he figured it out how to heal himself, or how to figure it out how to keep the healthy body in that kind of the way. So the calcite is very good for the meditation, to harmonizing the energies, calming down all of this. When you are here, you are calm, you are relaxed. I mean, I've been hanging out there for about good 3 hours. It was really hot. I could care less. It's just like you just wanna be in that place. It's just filled with love. It is not filled with a broken heart and sadness. This place is oozing with love, and it's oozing with um, cosmic extraterrestrial energies. So you feel like, oh, I visited home for a little bit. Now, back to the signs. There are holes in some kind of the rock. There's a one rock here that has a hole. There's like a sun tower there that has a hole. There's a little, there's one rock up here forward, and there was one here. It has a holes. Oh, and there's, on the left side. Of course, I cannot show you to all of it right now. And you know that everywhere in this ancient past, when you find a hole in the rock, it points to the stars. It's like, the looking glass, and it's looking to the particular direction. If I want to leave you a messages, I'm gonna leave them in the pictures, in the symbolism, in the something doesn't speak, doesn't tell the story, so you can find your own story. That is the language of light of your soul. So there's the one, the hole that's looking into through another hole, and that points to a north star. And there's like this little like a wire separation. So depending on into which quarter that north star is, that kind of the season you have: spring, summer, and so much on. So you know into which season you are right away. There's the sun clock. But the North Star has been used by the sailors for hundreds of years, thousands of years, because the one star that is constant, that doesn't really move. So if you are lost and you navigate yourself by the North Star, or we call it Pole Star, you find your way. You are not lost anymore. And that is as valid today as it has been many thousands of years ago. And so that another one, there's another hole that I was looking, through the constellation app, and I have been there on the 9th of the May 2024. So depending the seasons, we know that these constellations in the sky will change, right? So I was visiting there just before Pleiadian alignment, which starts on the May 15. So when I was there, this one particular hole, which goes with this area up here, pointed to the Ursula Major, to the Big Bear, or you may know it as a Big Dipper. What is so fascinating about the Ursula Major? Ursula Major is one of the oldest star nations that is a feminine star nation. Some people call them Urma civilization. You are for the Ursula MA, the major Urma. And they are these ancient feminine beings who travel through this universe and helps in the evolution of different constellations and the planets in evolution of life. They are known as cosmic mothers. They have connected with the Pleiadians and created with the Pleiadians, and many of them originate themselves with the Pleiadians today because it's closer to the Earth and to our memories. Some people may describe them as the reptilian looking like female beings and very benevolent, nothing bad up there. And here, he made this rocking chair for him and his bride and the mother-in-law. And I says, it's odd that he didn't make a chair for the father-in-law, right? Like you make it for the mother-in-law, but would not make for the father-in-law. Hell, you always find yourself at the right time, at the right place. And I truly believe there's no such thing as a coincidence. So right here, behind, somewhere here, it points to Ursula Major. Ursula Major is known for the feminine being, so there's not gonna be daddy, there's not gonna be father-in-law, there's gonna be mother-in-law, and she is strict, and she may be mean, and she demands discipline, and that's what the story, say up there. Beautiful, beautiful teaching. Here, Dari Mega Mars, Saturn, Moon, and Venus. Everything here in this place around revive around the feminine energy in the majority. Very interesting, because I do think it is meant to remind us, awaken within us soul energy, which is the feminine energy, and then remind us of this original cosmic mothers. It's almost like cosmic mother will shake you up and says, what are you doing, sweetheart? Come on, fix yourself up, shape up your life. And you have a job to do here, like as we mom do to our children, like, come on, grow up and do what you have to do. So the Mars and the Saturn, to me, would stand for the very strong masculine energy, where the Moon and the Venus, to me, would stand for very feminine energy. So you have this masculine and the feminine energies up there. At the time when I was there pointing at the Ursula Major, now there's another tower there where the moon shines through a little hole on the spring equinox, I'm sorry, the first day of the spring. What should we call it? Equinox. My English words get a little confused in the head here. Now, the gentleman who gave us the tour, he says, you know what constellation that reminds you of, right? The stone. And I was like, well, which one do you think so? And he says, it's in the shape of Taurus. I was like, ooh, I like that one. Taurus? What constellation is in the Taurus? Pleiades, right? Seventh sister of the Pleiades sits within the Taurus. There's also, when I was looking through the constellation up, at the time when I was there, it pointed out to Serpent, the Serpent constellation. So when you see a beautiful snake in the sky, what you think about? And you think about the wisdom teacher and the Naga and the Naga's beings. It is said that the Nagas are living inside of the earth. They have been here long before the ancient aliens even came. And they are the keepers of the knowledge within the earth. There's the point inside of the earth, as above, so below. That's what the ad was literally showing within this well up here. They still have no idea how he stopped water or how he climbed under the water and how he dig up all the steps under. They can't explain it. So here we have a, points to the Andromeda energy and the healing. There's a points to the Pleiades and the soul healing energy, the seven sisters. And a soul communicates in the pictures and in the pictures literally. When you look at it, something that our eyes can feast on, or something that, because that is unchangeable. I cannot say something that we can hear, because the hearing, the way how we sing a song, depending on our singing voice abilities, definitely changes. Oh, here's my little help below. Say hello. But what do we see? What do we touch with our hands? What do we smell? I guess the taste and the smell can be affected as well, but the touch and the seeing is the one that is true and pure um, perception that your soul can perceive, that can remind you of something that you're supposed to remember. Now, there's the serpent, right? Serpent. So that would go with the nagas. Now, there's a lot of triangles out there. There are several triangles that you really cannot miss. And there's only one in the picture here. And obviously, triangle is one of my symbol that I connect to the soul, mind, and the body consciousness together. To me, that's like the blueprint for our life. So I was thinking, all right, if there's a triangle here, there has to be a Syrian star nation, because Andromeda goes with the body healing, Pleiadians go with the soul healing, and the Syrians go with the knowledge. So there goes the Nagas, who are the protector of the knowledge, but there has to be a knowledge keeper, like a Syrian being, who would deposit that energy, knowledge, memories inside of the crystalline grid, inside of the stones, even the calcine stones, and I will send it there or hold it there for the safekeeping. So somewhere in this area before this chair, like a little bit to the left, there are chairs that they call at library. And he says, he had these three chairs, I believe there were, and they are there. Like here he sits in the morning sun, and here he sits in the afternoon sun, here he sits in the evening sun, and that he loved to read. So, and there's a library and reading chairs that are literally meditating chairs. That is your Syrian consciousness. There are several meditating chairs. So that would be all the Syrian consciousness. When I was in a place where he meditated, because behind this pathway, you go in the back, there's a nispero tree. There are benches under where you can sit and meditate. Um, it's a different energy than up here, because the Stargate is up here. You go and it's very calming, and it pulls you down inside of the earth. And that's how the Syrians would want to have it, to help you to go in that deep meditating state. And that's where the Naga beings, that's where the cosmic mothers who have the energy, and I do believe there are still beings living inside of the earth, connect with you. But when they connect with you to share with you more knowledge and wisdom that you would like to have, that you can manifest in your life, you have to have that inner purity inside of you. You have to achieve a level where you graduate from that ego consciousness in the mind consciousness, where you literally can hold fifth dimensional energy easily, and you start slowly moving into holding that seven dimensional energy, which in my opinion is the highest energy we can hold in the physical body on earth. And if you want to hold on the physical body, you really need to make sure that you prepare your body for it. And what is the most important part to prepare? Is your nervous system, is your bone structure. And there literally show us of how to do it. So I think this is a absolutely incredible place. I can sit here for another hour and just talk about it and giving you the more, the insight and experiences. So I would definitely recommend that you go there. There's just so many beautiful surprises. There's a triple goddess place, and there's just this place is filled with love. This place, in my opinion, was built with a love not only for the 16-year-old girl, who live in the Latvia, but also for love that he remember from Star for the soul family that one day will return. And if you are the soul family, you will know it right down there. When you go there, you will cry. Just to think about it makes me teary. Your heart will open, your throat chakra will open, and you will feel like, I can do the life. I had a little taste of the home, and I can go back in my life and I can do what I have to do. This place will activate you. At least in my opinion, it will activate you. And then you bring that activation to everywhere you go and to everybody who is willing to have it, because it is time that we remember each other. They says that if they will perfectly, preserve the stones and will not allow the people touch them, um, they may be here for the next 300 years. If they don't, they says they may have about 100 years of age, about 100 year of age. Hopefully, we receive from this place all that we need until that time. And we know that the most important time is now, because we are shifting as a whole humanity, as a whole collective consciousness. And here you have this pure energy that literally is infused by the Atlantean energy, because it is built in the place where the ancient Atlantis was, at least close by to it. But I think that's where the ancient Atlantis was. Wherever the stones, were part of it or not, that energy is up there. You can feel it. And we're coming to Atlantean age. We're coming to the highly technological age, artificial intelligence age, and we need to make choices that will be beneficial to us, where all this most amazing technology would be our friend, would be our helper, but it would not take over our life. So I hope you have enjoyed this. I have enjoyed this very much. I will continue my journey. I will share with you my findings. I'm definitely looking forward. Probably write a book about all of this, and I would definitely love to make a documentaries from places like this. So let's see what will come. Let me know what you are curious about, because it definitely that gives me the right push in the right direction, or the encouragement to know what is it you are curious about, what is it you want to know, what is it you want to see. So thank you for watching. I love you, and you have a fabulous month of May. And if you are going to visit, enjoy your visit. Love and light from my heart to yours.